So, question while I'm listening to this, are all of these new songs, of the new songs, are they all truly new songs, or were some of them left over from the olden days that you had around and reworked?
They're all brand new.
Somebody can still rock it out. Oh, yeah. I like that. And I love that it's Final Symphony, but it's not strings and you're really rocking out on it. I am curious listening to this one. How did you guys put this album together? So in the old days you were all working it out.
Right.
You're all over the world.
Yeah. Well, I would start with the bass track. Then BP came down from North Carolina and played all his crazy drum stuff. And then the others recorded their parts and sent them over. And it was very fascinating because in a song like this, which is such a heavy guitar track, Gary would send me a bunch of different ideas and things that he'd done, and I would kind of sort through them and see where they would be good. Sometimes in some of the songs, I ended up making a whole new section so that I could use those parts. And the other thing is that with this particular song, it's the kind of thing we absolutely never would have done back in the day. You know, like a heavy guitar, drum, rock song. We would just thought it wasn't our thing, but now we can. So we wanted to enjoy ourselves. And so where you picked up on that line about letting each instrument shine, it's partly a reflection of what we're doing now, but also the fact we didn't do that back in the day. And so we're kind of making up for it, you know?
Well, I see them in spandex with their guitars going into the audience with this one.
Well, I used to have a mirror, you know, I used to have a mirror guitar, right? So I don't have that anymore, though.
Uh-oh, we got to get you a new one, though. Because, all right.
That one was purpose built by Mick Sweeney, that one.
Well, build another. That's my answer to everything. Do it again. Tour? You guys going to tour, do you think?
Well, which came first, the chicken or the egg? I think the record has got to sell first, and then if we establish there's a demand, then we can talk about it, basically.
Even if not a tour, could there be the want to get together and play the album live somewhere for folks, or would that be?
Well, the thing is, the logistics are so hard because we live in different countries and all of that, you know. And so if we're gonna do it, we would do a tour. But whether we will, that's in the hands of the public.
Yeah, well, I would love to hear this track done live. That would be just so fun.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I mean, you picked up on the guitars and that, but also BP on the drums is so great.
Oh yeah.
Because back in the day, you know, if anybody ever saw us live, they'd say, "Oh yeah, BP's a really amazing drummer." And since then, when I'd said it to some people, they didn't get it because the drums were very controlled on the old stuff.
Yeah.
Now they're not. You can just let rip.
Wasn't it surprising to you? Because I know you've kept, I don't know if I'm mischaracterizing this, but you kept loosely in touch a little bit with them through the years. But to see their musicality today to what you remember from 40 years ago, did you notice it, or had you kept up with them enough that you knew it was at this point, or were you surprised at how great you all are?
Yeah, I don't think I really thought about it because obviously we were not contemplating ever working together again, so we didn't have to consider that kind of thing. But you're quite right. When they started sending their parts, and so BP is way better than he was. Something he told me recently that I didn't know back in the day is he says because he was in X-ray space, he was just playing punk music, and he'd only been playing a couple of years. And so one of the reasons he wanted to do Classix is because it was going to stretch him. And so he was kind of learning as we went all these new kinds of rhythms and so on. And now he's had all these years of soaking in all the music that he likes.
Yeah.
And so it's all coming out. And also because Gary is now a guitar teacher. And so he's so much more than he was, you know, when he was just a young kid. He came along back in the day. And so that's been quite fascinating because on some of those songs, I would say afterwards, I don't think anybody could have done that better.
Yeah, yeah.
You hear some of those guitar parts, and it's wow, you know, they sound like all the classic rock records that you've ever heard in your lifetime. And so,
I have friends who work in the theater, and we're always invited to opening night. And they always say, you know, I wish you would come a few weeks into the run when you've had time to get into it and walk the walk and really learn the character. And I kind of can't help but think, you know, 40 years ago it was opening night. You guys have had 40 years to gestate and grow and ferment in a sense. And what you have here is just so nice. You know, it just really shows an expertise across the board in what you guys do.
well, I think we're kind of making good for all our past mistakes. All the things we hadn't got wrong or didn't know how to do back then, now we do. So finally,
You make this wait so long, you made it worth something worth waiting for.
I'm glad it is. So you want to hear the next one?
Of course I do.
This is going to be fun. Be ready.